So in previous lessons we've learned about the nail anatomy, we've learned about contraindications, what can stop a treatment happening. We've learned about all the equipment that you need and how to keep your equipment sterile. So today what I'm doing is I'm going to do a demonstration on you of 2 acrylic nails. I'm going to show you how to do a French manicure and also acrylic nails painted. Then I want you to call your client in when she arrives, and I want you to practice. And you can practice a couple of times before your assessments start, and then you'll be doing your assessments that we've spoken about. So let's start. So first of all his equipment, it's all sterile, everything's sorted, everything's set out that we need. So first of all what we need to do is we need to make sure the nail plates are clean and there's no nail varnish or anything left on them. So what we do is nail varnish remover. So just make sure that nail plate's clean. Then you get your cuticle pusher. Very gently, all down the nail plate, push your cuticles back. Make sure there's nothing on these nails. If there is a little bit that comes up like that, use your cuticle cutters very gently, because you don't want to be breaking the skin or cutting your clients. Very gently around the cuticle until it comes off. Do that to all your nails. Then to make sure that it's all clean again, just wipe over. Then what you need to do is get your nail tips. The more times you do this, you'll know by looking at the size of the nail what sizes you probably need. So as you can see, your tips need to be from sidewall to sidewall, no gaps. Needs to be perfectly fit. So just get your nail glue. Pop a little bit on. Wear your free edges. Line it up. Hold it down and stick it down. Won't take long to stick. As you can see, it's stuck. So you'll do this 12-10. When that's done and you've done all 10, you get your nail tip cutters. Now be very careful how you hold these. You hold them the right way around. So you make sure that the tip goes in this end and the blade bit is facing you. Ask the client what the desired length is and shape. Some clients may want square, short, there's coffin, there's ballerina, there's stiletto, there's oval, there's all sorts of different shapes. So what shape would you like today? Ballerina. Okay.
Mama.
So personally, I always cut a bit longer just to make sure. Pause it. So I always cut a bit longer. You can always take off, but you can never put back on, and it gets the desired length of the client. So just cut them off. Then you get your nail file. You need to blend this tape as much as possible into the nail plate without hurting the client. And then just quickly do the shape that your client wants. So as you can see, that's your rough shape. Now we need to get all that dust off as much as possible. You can use the wipe that you've already used, or you can use a brush, whatever you feel better. So now what we have to do is we have to dehydrate the nail plates. So use dehydrator. You only need a little bit. You don't need it on the tip, and make sure you don't put it on the skin. So it's just on the nail, up to the cuticle. And that's as much as you need, and let that dry. Then what you need is your primer. Primer allows your acrylic to stick to the nail plate. This is what gives it the long lasting. If you don't use primer, they are not going to last. Obviously, you want your clients to be lasting at least 2 weeks, otherwise they're just going to be complaining. So again, do not put it on the skin. Make sure you've covered all the nail and let that dry. Next step, you need your dapper dish.
That's a ditch.
Some baby wipes.
Some baby wipes.
Shh. Or some kitchen roll.
Or some kitchen roll.
You need your acrylic liquid and your acrylics that you'll be using. So you need to fill your dapper dish up with your acrylic liquid. Or monomer.
Monomer.
Then you use your acrylic brush. Now, some people like bigger brushes, some people like smaller brushes. I find using a smaller brush is a lot easier for me. But it's whatever your preference is. So first of all, we'll be doing your manicure one. So make sure got all residue off your acrylic brush. Dip it into your monomer.
Monomer.
And then dip it into your acrylic. Making sure you've got a small bead of acrylic, not too wet or not too dry.
Not
You need to do the tip first.
I got dirt.
It doesn't have to be perfect because you'll be filing it down and whatnot anyway. So all we're doing is covering the nail tip with your white acrylic. Making sure you get none on your nail plate. It just literally needs to be the nail tip. So when you've done that, we need to fill the nail in. So I'm going for a natural colour. You can use clear, you can use a pinky colour, you can use any colour your client desires, really, but I find this is the best, most natural. So again, you dip your brush in your monomer into your acrylic powder, getting your bead of acrylic, starting at the cuticle, making sure it does not bleed into the cuticle, because if it bleeds into the cuticle, you can't file it. You'll cut your client. So you've got to be very, very careful, making sure you don't get any on the skin. Don't matter if you get any of this on the white either, because it's going to be filed off. And when you're happy with that, let it dry. For the next one, as we'll be painting it, all I'm going to use is a clear acrylic. It's the best to use under if you're painting with either normal polish or shellac or gels. So again, you dip your brush into your monomer, into your acrylic powder, making sure you've got a bead, not too wet, not too dry. If it does ever get too wet, you can use your baby wipes or your kitchen roll and dampen it down like this, as you can see, and it dries your bead. So if it's clear, what I personally do is start near the cuticle, making sure again it doesn't bleed The acrylic doesn't bleed into your cuticle. Doesn't go into the side walls. Keep it as neat as possible, then work your way up.
Not me then.
If you do get any on the skin, you can get your cuticle pusher, and if it's not dry and it's still wet, you can scrape it very gently up the skin and it'll remove it from the skin. Obviously, everyone makes mistakes. No one's perfect every time. I've done it myself. And that's what we need to try and stop. So once that's done, and you've done all 10, put your acrylic away. I'll move it to one side. Do apologise. So once they've all dried, we're going to file them. So you need to be very, very careful. So what I do first is the side walls. Making sure you don't file the skin. If you file the skin, you're going to hurt your client's going to bleed. It could cause infections, which we don't want. And being very, very careful.
I'll be very careful. Very careful.
So what we're doing is making it very smooth because we don't want no bumps in it. Making sure it's all sorted. Ask your client, is that length okay? Making sure there's no bumps to the end of the acrylic free edge. And we'll start the next one. Again, it needs to be as smooth as possible. So when you've done all your nails, making sure they're all the same length and same shape. For your manicure one, you can just use the clear polish. So start near the cuticle, one stroke down, then the sides, then cap it at the free edge. Now you're painting. It's the same, making sure that you've got some nail varnish on, down near the cuticle, to the free edge, cuticle, free edge, cuticle, free edge, then paint the free edge. That may need another coat, so you just do exactly the same again. Now when they're dry, we finish off with some cuticle oil. Obviously we've pushed the cuticles back. We've filed near them, we've put acrylic on them, they need a bit of nourishment. Plus it makes the nail, the finished nail, look better. And there you have it. 2 acrylic nails. So now what I want you to do is I want you to go off, call your client in and practice. Do one hand French manicure, one hand painted. Do you have any questions?
No.
Okie dokie.